This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
So let's go ahead and the minutes from October. I'd love to move to accept those minutes. Does anyone second the motion? Norman does. All in favor? Aye. Wonderful. Okay, so we've accepted the October minutes. And then so the treasurer's report, so like I said at the top, we weren't able to send like the normal Google Sheets document. But he did say everything seems to be the same. The $150 bill from Broadbrook for closing down the irrigation system has not been processed yet.
Okay.
So that won't appear on this month's billing information anyways. And then the other question I had for Ted is we did have somebody email me about donating some money to the garden. And she told me she was able to drop off those funds, but did not say how much. So I was curious if Ted had heard from the city about how much that donation was. And I'll touch base with him about that.
Yeah,
if it's like $1 million.
Is that why Ted is not here? Is he in Vegas?
He's in Vegas. Yeah, that's what
it was an envelope for patch.
Yes, yeah, he's
discovered gold in his patch.
And then one thing I need to do as far as a financial, what on earth financial thing is I just need to spend probably the rest of my cash to get more keys for the shed. Cool. Okay. Any other? Yeah.
Brief interruption. I have a key that somebody left in the lock sometime in the summer, which I told Margie about, and I thought she was going to put it out to see whose it was. It's got a little green tag on it. I don't know if that anybody recognizes that, but I have it in my car. I can give it to you at your convenience. I can drop it off at the bakery if you want.
Yeah, that would be great. And we can still send an email out because I'm trying to remember. I think there was somebody who I did get a key to who lost theirs, so I wonder if that's there. And I just can't remember who it was, but I bet that was theirs.
Yeah.
And I should message some of the folks who left to get their keys back also. For that. Okay, cool. All right, any other questions about the financials report? Okay, cool. I'm not going to have us vote to approve of anything because we don't have any official documents.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's all that we have for treasurer stuff. So I'm going to move on to operations.
Well, everything up there looks pretty good. I had emailed Sarah. I wanted to get up there and mow before we had the rain and last weekend, and I just wasn't able to get up there. So I'll be mowing up there probably within the next week. I'm looking for windows without rain. Even though we don't have water to kind of wash the mower, but I really want to try and cut stuff back. And the shed looks awesome. And there's not a whole lot really else to talk about. I think one thing I'm gonna do, I've got some like of that vinyl ribbon, that they tie on to trees and things when they want to save them or cut them down. But I think I'm gonna go around and there's Karen, and mark the all the multi-floor rose bushes that are
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I may even dependent on my time. But that's something even because we go up there and walk the dog a lot at the orchard, even in the wintertime. But I got a very nice set of heavy duty lopper pruners for last Father's Day, but I'm gonna go cut them back over the winter, and so we can just dig them up because they're starting to get more out of control and they're really invasive as all get out. So that's something I would like to have on the radar for next spring anyway. I don't know. We don't need to talk about that right now.
Yeah, no, but I wrote it down for like maybe the opening work day. When we have the most people, we could dig up a bunch of those.
Yeah, and there's some that are close. They're actually problematic when we're mowing in the bottom part. And those are the ones I want to try and get rid of first.
Okay, cool.
Mark, do you have anything else that you can think of?
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, no, I just wanted to comment. Sarah probably would have mentioned it anyway. We had a wonderful work day last Saturday, and that's why you found the shed in such good shape. It's because everybody pitched in. Sarah was sitting there with a broom, sweeping out all the dirt and crud that had accumulated. We're kind of repositioning things, and in addition, we found some baby mice in there. Which,
of course, you did.
Which Ryan, Ryan took the charge of that. We kind of moved them out as best we could into an adjacent bush. Andrew and I did an inventory of all the stuff in the shed, all the tools, etc., that we do annually, and I will send out a report on that to everybody as soon as I can put that together. By the way, I found one more hose that was out there. It was over by the watershed. We forgot about that one, so I brought that in today. So all the hoses are in, and the nozzles have been detached and put in a bucket, and they will be available. And we'll do an assessment if we need to replace any hoses going forward. But it was a great work day. Everybody pitched in. Sarah and Ryan and her friend Mel, and who else was there? Sarah, I can't remember. Oh, Andrew was there.
And Mel's actually a new gardener. She just got a plot.
And Oscar came too.
Yeah, and Oscar was there. Yeah.
So it was a good day, and I think we did a good job of cleaning the shed up. And somebody asked Frank if we use both lawnmowers or just one. What's your answer to that?
Well, we used one. I kind of wanted to at least throw the idea out of fixing the other one, depending on what it would cost.
Okay.
Because we could abuse that one and go in to cut like really high stuff. It's an interesting mower. It's a double blade, like stacked blade, that was donated. And I could take that up and ask Flurry what it would even cost.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah, because if it's going to cost a lot, then maybe we don't. If it's not that big a deal. And I even have somebody who could maybe get it running again, and we don't have to pay anybody.
Well, let me know if it's too hard for you to get to Flurry to assess how much it would cost to fix, because we can talk about it again. If it's just broken and we don't want to fix it,
right?
We can maybe sell it or something. But I think it would be great, and we have room in the budget. We can kind of ask Ted about that, like next year, to prioritize that depending on how much it is.
But I may be able to get somebody to do it for nothing.
Okay.
Or
all right.
Or tobacco.
Amazing.
Tobacco, huh?
Yeah, he rolls his own cigarettes, and I when I go down south, I go through North Carolina, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper down there. I could make an in-kind contribution to the garden.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's great. The only other thing I was going to ask about operations is that glass table, but I wanted Stephen to be here for that, so I can wait and just see what we want to do. That's near the shed. So awesome. Any other operations things or questions?
Eric's got a
I guess
question.
just to say, oh yeah, Eric, you do. Or is it an accident question? Put your hands up.
No, it was well, a statement. I'm going to go through the shed. I know I've got a really good rake that's mine in there, and a not so great shovel. If I grab one of those, Mark, I'll send you an email to let you know so that the inventory isn't messed up.
That'd be great.
Also, I've got some 5-gallon buckets that I experimentally used for tomato growing, and I didn't like it. But would we want those?
Sure.
They're 5 gallons. They do have holes drilled in the bottom of them, so they're not completely continent, but they can be used for growing.
Oh, okay.
And they'd be good for for people with compost.
Yeah, for weeds and compost, and also they won't gather the water, so they don't have to worry about stagnant water. So I'll let you know what I leave and what I take, so that the inventory can be updated.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you mentioned the buckets, because I had kind of made an inquiry last week. We had a bunch of buckets last year, and they kind of slowly disappeared. So I don't know if people borrowed them and just forgot to return them, but it makes us wonder if we should be investing in buckets, or how do we secure tools or materials in the shed that we want to stay there, or if they're borrowed to be returned.
Well, we got one more year covered of buckets, so
I
think ones with bottoms as well is what.
Unless we need to carry water.
Exactly, unless you need water. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Sarah King, where'd you go?
I turned my camera off. I can't tell, my internet keeps saying it's struggling. So I'm gonna just see if it's not.
I have that happen. Screen off if that's happening.
But yeah, so I'm just gonna do this for now. And I'll Margie, are you gonna do meeting notes or should I?
It doesn't matter if you want me to do it. If there doesn't seem like there's too much to say.
Yeah, if you would do it, that would be great. And just include in there if anyone has a bucket that they haven't returned, to put it in the shed. And then I guess I just wanted to add to operations. I have a bunch of peppermint balls or whatever that I can put in the shed to prevent mice, or see how that helps, because it was a lot of mice, which I wouldn't have been concerned about, but people did point out they'll just keep populating, so best to move them along.
We lost the garden cat this year. Big difference.
Oh, that's right. The cat disappeared.
Yeah, the cat changed.
My mom was terribly upset. I met her last year on the road, and she asked if any of us had seen her, and she was really upset, and she never came back.
Oh, sad. She was a nice cat, very friendly.
There's a lot of coyotes up there. That wouldn't surprise me.
Oh boy, that's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I really wouldn't let my cat out if I was living up there, but that's
it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so with that, we can move on from operations and on to outreach.
Okay, happily, the 4 currently open plots have all been taken by interested gardeners who are out there. Well, one of them, like Trudy, our neighbor Frank, maybe you've noticed how much work she's done. She's done so much work. It's so lovely. And she's my garden neighbor now, and coincidentally, years ago, she was my garden neighbor in the Northampton Community Garden.
No way.
Yeah. She stopped me when I was going there. I don't remember when it was, a week ago or so. And she said, "Are you Margie? I know you." And I was like, "Yeah, you look familiar." So we're garden neighbors, and she's a very dedicated gardener. She had a beautiful garden in Northampton, and I'm really excited that there's going to be someone who does what she knows how to do.
Can I check in here? I only have 2 plots marked as empty. Because Philip's wife took over A7.
About to be empty, yeah. Eric's
Yeah, but then otherwise they're all full.
But there were 4 open ones that have now been taken by Trudy, Melanie, Philip, and his wife Lorna.
It's Gloria, is that what you said?
Lorna, Lorna.
Lorna.
Yeah, Lorna Hunt, Philip Hayden Lord, Trudy Hooks, and Melanie Pepper.
Perfect.
And wow. I think I updated everything in the drive. I don't have Lorna's email address, but I asked Philip to send it, but maybe they're just going to use his email address. They're married, so.
Awesome. And okay, cool.
I haven't noticed any activity in the other plots, but both Philip and Melanie were eager to get out there. I don't know if they're able to, but I think it's looking good. And just when Eric and Caitlin leave, we'll have 2 more open ones. I hadn't noticed that Caitlin moved everything yet.
She's still got Brussels sprouts in there as of today. Brussels sprouts
did really well, man.
Yeah,
they're still there.
Yeah, they do take a long time. I'll say that.
Hers are ready to harvest. I just hope she gets to them.
And there's nothing else really. I've been in touch with Mary Ann just to let her know that these particular people were not required to pay a fee until next season. And
great.
She responded with a thank you. So I know that we have a connection at least. There's nothing else. There's nobody else on the waiting list. I haven't heard from Zelda, the young person, after I wrote what we had decided. She didn't get back to me, so maybe she's given up. That's all.
Okay, cool. Great. Awesome. Any other questions for outreach then? Okay, let's keep going. Awesome. Eric's final pathing report also. I feel like we should be more dramatic about
Yeah, it's no fanfare. I didn't do anything.
Well, you've already done plenty, so
you showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't take a look at what's to be done. The one that's next to Frank's probably still needs to be done. Because I didn't do that one. That one looks like it's been not done for a number of years. So yeah, so that should, whoever takes over, make sure that that's their priority.
Okay.
And then Sarah, the one next to yours, is in good shape as far as the fill goes, but whoever is walking the paths just needs to go through every once in a while and just check the thistle and the mint to make sure that neither of them is crossing over as much as you can help.
Yeah, we really need to reinforce not growing mint.
Well, we had introduced mint as a thistle prevention, but I think that I'm definitely tearing all of it out of mine. I'm tempted to still leave it in the part by the benches because it is overwhelming the mint pretty well. But I definitely, yeah, I just added it, and I apologize, I forgot to put this on old business, but just to have a quick conversation about the thistle plots. Since that project was successful this year, like what we're thinking about for those two, for Charlotte and for Mark, which my cat agrees is important. So, okay, awesome, great. Anything else there, Eric? Thank you. So donation garden would be Steven's update here. I know we didn't make a ton of contributions this year with the coolers, but I do think we just need to keep reassessing how much pressure we want to put on that end of things. I do like the idea of just reminding people to go to the community center. And any other comments or questions about donation?
Well, I know Stephen is very dedicated to it, and I appreciate his good energy. And I was involved for a few years there as well. But I just it just feels like it's pulling teeth or something to get people to put stuff in the coolers. We haven't had a significant amount. I just wonder if it's worth all the energy, unless Stephen just wants to keep doing it. It just like you just mentioned, and I had said that before. You can just take your own produce over to the community center anytime you want. They're happy to have it. I did some today. I brought some kale over there today, actually. So
I think I think it's good to maybe, because he is coming to the meeting, maybe we can return to this and just ask if he feels like it's emotionally fulfilling enough. But I do feel like he gets very frustrated. It makes me wonder how fulfilling it is.
I just don't think people are going to respond the way we would hope they would. I mean, I can be wishful, but I just haven't seen much of that for a long, long time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can come back to donation stuff for sure. Pollinator garden, Karen, do you have any updates?
Pollinator garden is in good shape. We've got stuff planted in all the raised beds, and we're just hoping that they survive the winter nicely and come back next spring and start proliferating. We've got a great big Joe Pye weed, and some people donated spotted bee balm and mountain mint, and I think Frank donated the brown-eyed Susan or black-eyed Susan.
Yeah, and some butterfly weed too.
And some butterfly weed. Okay, great. And I collected seed to cast over there this winter. I've had great luck with certain plants, Cosmos and Cleome, coming up on their own the next spring, and hopefully these will do that. I'm going to overseed it, so we should be able to see something.
Awesome.
It always needs the pathways regularly need more mulch. That's always something. If somebody wants to do something and get some hours, just throwing some mulch in the pathways would be helpful always.
That's true. I feel like that's a good reminder. When doing orientation, I should mention that. Okay, great. Awesome. Karen, do any of the plots need, should we include for the budget next year, any, are all the plots all the raised beds are all set, right? In the pollinator?
It would be good to add some either mulch, whatever we get, add organic material to them, because that does get used up.
But no more we don't need to invest in more wood, no more construction based stuff, right?
What I would like eventually, we've got the 6 beds, but there's a little bit of space in the middle, and I've always thought it would be good to have 2 small raised beds in those 2 spots and fill those with herbs. And hopefully, a lot of herbs just take off on their own. Then that would be something where if people wanted to take a few sprigs home for dinner, once that gets going, that would be a nice source right there. But it's not something we have to do right away.
Okay, awesome. Okay, but that's good to know. If you think of it over the winter, if you want to get some price, like a little estimate for that project, then we can decide where it fits in.
Okay, yeah. It would just two small beds.
Yeah. Margie, your hand's up.
Yeah, I was just wondering how small. Maybe we could use grow bags there, because I think Eric is leaving some grow bags.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, or grow bags.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Excellent.
Love that. Love that. Okay. Any other questions for Karen in the pollinator garden? Awesome. Okay, so volunteer hours. Everyone reached their hours, which is awesome. And the only people who didn't are people who left the garden already. Operations is there's no updates there. Looking for that to be a project we focus on next year. And let's go back now that Steven's here. Let's go back up to the donation garden, see if there's any thoughts or words or updates.
Shaking his head.
Yeah, I know, dramatic. It's dramatic.
As a famous boxer once said after getting beat up for a while, no mas, no mas. So no mas. I mean, obviously, the voluntary nature of the donations isn't working any better this year than it has the last 2 years, which is virtually non-existent. So, I've said my piece year in, year out about how to change it, but I think I went up maybe 10 or 11 times this year, with the exception of once. Margie had something once. That was it. So, and that was the beginning of the year. So basically, I go up, but the good news is in September, I'm able to bring some things from the orchard, Park Street Orchard, to the community center. So I'm not totally empty-handed, but I am from the community garden.
All right. Well, I just had a thought. It might be worth emphasizing to people, because I know one part that's always hard for me is like having another to do with the garden. That's like, oh God, now I got to get over there this week to get something in the cooler or harvest something. Can feel just like people are already getting a lot of asks from us for volunteer hours and maintain your plot. And, they get asks from us tons with a lot of expectations, which is good. It's a community garden. That's the whole point. But maybe at the start of next year, really stressing to people that if they have extra produce, to not hesitate to drop it by the community center. And even if we don't rely on like the cooler system, just making sure people know like there's no reason to get overwhelmed and just leave your stuff to go bad after you've worked a day in the garden. Harvest something. We can make it part of the work days. Harvest something. We'll bring it to the
that's a
center.
good idea. That's a good idea.
Cool. I'll add that too. Mark, you had hand up.
Yeah, I think, the time we're living in right now, and I think the whole curtailing of the SNAP benefits has made the whole issue of donations even more important. I know there's a lot of agencies who are working to try to meet the gap there. And I hope that, that all changes by next year where, SNAP is restored fully. But I think the whole issue of food scarcity maybe needs to be looked at a little more closely. And I for one, will try to do a little bit of research and see where we stand in the community, maybe talk to Robin and others and say, what's it like out there? Because every time I go to the community center, there's flocks of people coming and going, getting food. And I don't think it's limited to one income level even. I just think some people have food scarcity in their lives.
Well, totally. Karen?
Well, I don't think we should assume that we know people's conditions. It might be that people are using everything that they're growing in their garden.
Well,
no.
It's in there. I don't think so.
Aaron, we know that there's stuff that rots out there.
I walk around and there's all kinds of stuff there that isn't getting picked.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Margie?
Well, it's obvious that everything is not being used. I mean, especially tomatoes. There's tomatoes dropping on the ground and rotting on the vine. And I've seen squash plants, summer squash, zucchini rotting on the vine and growing too big. But I do think that people are busy and it might feel like an extra pressure to have to be there on a certain day, like you said, Sarah, in order to get it donated. So we do need to stress that people can donate on their own. And I also wanted to piggyback on what Mark said, because my job is to provide resources for our WIC participants. I work for the WIC program. And I just did my monthly report, and there's more and more food insecurity among our participants. And especially now, there's a lot of fear because of no SNAP in November. However, I saw in the news today that a Rhode Island judge said that Trump must fully fund SNAP for November. However, even if he does that, and I don't trust the guy one bit, he'll just do whatever he wants. But even if he does do that, it's still going to take some time. So there definitely is food insecurity. And I drive I drive down Clark Street, past the community center every Monday morning. And sometimes you can't even drive down that street. You got to stay away because it's so busy. And it does seem to be that it's busier than ever right now. And I even had a cable guy come over the other night. He was like 2 hours late, so he was there at 10 o'clock at night, and we started talking. And I was trying to cook up some of my vegetables because there's no room in the fridge. And I said, "Oh, wait a second, there's no room in my fridge." And he said, "Oh, you've got the opposite problem than a lot of people." And even he works 10 hours a day, and he's just eating ramen, he said, because he can't afford to buy food. I tried to talk to him about rice and beans and greens, which you can get that as cheap as you can get ramen. But it's out there, and it's bigger than ever, the food insecurity.
Karen?
Have we tried? I know that this is a hard thing to do with people, but to send out an email like 3/4 of the way through the summer saying, if you know you're not going to be able to pick your vegetables, give us a notice and we could go by and pick some and take it over there.
We did that. Stephen volunteered to harvest for people many times.
And they don't respond? No.
Not much.
I think my imagination with it is, I think it's somewhere between people having grown stuff, wanting to harvest it themselves, not having time to get out there, but not sure yet if they just have put all this work into the garden to be like, "Oh, well, Stephen can just go harvest everything." Because then what if they do get out there and then they now don't, I'm sure it's just people who are busy, who don't know what they have growing.
I agree.
Aren't realizing how much they're letting go to waste. If they were out there every week or every day, they might be able to say, "Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, but I know I have a bunch of ripe tomatoes that I'm not going to get to." So I think it's just navigating like what we're always navigating with the garden, which is a lot of different needs that we're trying to fulfill, each gardener individually and as a community. But I do think it's good to keep problem solving this and I'll emphasize during the orientation with new gardeners too. I think planting the seed early, like be mindful of that. Don't feel bad about stuff going to waste, like get it donated. Margie?
I think it's a great idea to include harvesting donations at work days, and we could also give community service credits to someone for bringing all the donations to the community center.
Totally. Mark?
Oh, maybe we could make a case for when people are planting in the spring, to think about, planning ahead so that maybe let's just hypothetically 5 or 10% of what you grow could be given as a donation. I'm just throwing that out. It might sound like a lot, but I don't think it's very much. I think I could easily do that because there's, like you say, all these tomatoes that you can't possibly eat. So yeah, I think we need to continue to try to really inform our gardeners of what's going on in the world and and how they can be a part of making it a better place for their fellow citizens in town.
Margie?
On top of that, Mark, I think we have to be very aware that some people do use all their vegetables. Like I always bring up myself because I bring food to my kids. I have 8 grandkids and like 19 kids that call me grandma, many of whom are local. I bring food to everybody. So
well, then you're accomplishing just what I'm talking about. You're giving you're giving food back.
Yeah, but I don't consider that a donation to that's not a donation to the community. That's just my family.
Well,
and I think that there are people who do use all their stuff, and
you may be right. I don't see that. I just don't see that when I walk around the gardens.
But here's the thing, Margie, and I'm glad you kind of raised what you did. To Mark's point, if people know when it is, and we pretty much kept to the same thing. Although, I mean, I've been Mondays, but Wednesdays are also okay. I've been open to when it is, if I'm so directed. But here's the thing: if people know when we do it, and people, like you say, Margie, those who are using everything, okay. As an example, if I'm doing a pickup on Monday morning, then they know that if they want to use it, if they come and pick up, through the weekend into Sunday, right? Then they're getting what they want to use. And I come on Monday, if I was to happen to see things, as we all are seeing, kind of at least pretty ripe, if not maybe a little overripe or too large or whatever. They've had that opportunity, if they're using everything, to harvest on their own, right? So I don't think we're depriving anyone. What we're doing is really basically giving allowance for those folks who either aren't paying attention, or I think in most cases, Sarah, particularly in August, when people go away, and weeks at a time, and they're, that's at the same time their stuff is going crazy. And it's just a shame.
Yeah, I think
year after year to watch
it
all
is
that
a shame. I think it's a shame. Margie, you'll definitely, I know you're next in the queue. I think it's just, if there's anything I've learned from engaging with a lot of different people who've come through the garden, is like just judging how much weight we put on our frustrations and engaging with this stuff. Like, I don't think anyone's going to stop letting food go to waste. I do think we need to encourage more donations. I think that would make everyone feel a lot better. I think it would help the gardeners feel better. I think we need to be careful about how much we keep putting pressure on gardeners, and we need to figure out a way to make this feel as like encouraging and chill, and also respect that people come into this with like very different mindsets about, they're not in it to grow food, maybe, and like they're experimenting with growing different things. Like, there's so many different types of gardeners. And so if we can, I don't know if there's a way to, like, I do want us to keep putting emphasis on how our community needs our support food wise, but also bearing in mind there's tons of people donating outside of just our garden. We can keep showing support without it, like, becoming this part of the meeting where it's like a big heavy sigh for all of us. If there's like a way we can do that. Margie?
I was going to say something like that, Sarah, that while it's really a good thing and it's important, I don't like the pressure part. It's like, we do need to find a way to be encouraging without putting pressure. And when we name a number like 5 to 10%, that feels like too much pressure to me. Because it's like, if you can't reach that number, maybe it's going to make you feel guilty, or I don't know, there's all possibilities. But I was just going to say that, Sarah, to be encouraging without putting pressure on people.
Stephen.
I'm sorry. I'm agreeing with everything you say, but that's under the scheme that we're saying to folks, hey, you've got to grow 5 to 10% or whatever it is for us to bring to the garden. We're not saying that. What we're saying to gardeners is that, they can bring stuff there on their own, which we talked about, to the community center. They can put it in a receptacle that we've got out there if they want us to do it. Okay, so that's another option.
Yeah.
But the third option that we're talking about is us doing the harvesting for them. They don't have to do anything. There's no pressure. But we are making a point that we see at least part of our mission, to help the community, and part of that is not to allow wasted food. No one really wants that. It's just a variety of things that cause it and gets past people. That's all. And so, what I'm saying, Marty, there's no pressure whatsoever. That's not the point here.
Our intention is not to put pressure, but people might feel pressured even though we don't intend to put pressure on it. And I think we just need to be clear. And also what Sarah said before, maybe they don't want somebody else coming into their garden and harvesting because they intend to harvest everything, but then they just can't get to it. I mean, so many factors.
I do think one thing that Stephen just said that I think will be useful maybe to incorporate next year is just tell people reduce your food waste. Because I think that helped me kind of reframe it. It's like, oh, this pressure, like I gotta start donating like, a portion of my whatever. Maybe just telling people like, hey, don't let stuff go to waste. Like, I think helping people see that it's what we're talking about. We're not saying take from your garden and donate it even. We are trying to prevent food waste. And that might be a better way to start helping people feel less pressure.
Sarah, I mean, that's a wonderful way of putting it, because I think we'd all feel about it, even if within our garden that everyone is trying to use what they can. You can trade. I mean, you can grow something for your neighbor's plot or something like that, and vice versa. At least when you say reduce the waste, that might encourage people to say, "Hey, Frank, can you pick my beans if you like them? They'll be ready. I can't get to them." That would be 100% better than where we're at the moment.
Yeah. Norman?
Do we have a consensus that when we see people who have lots of stuff, that we approach them and say, like, for example, Caitlin, I would feel comfortable saying, Caitlin, you got tons of stuff that's going to rot. Can we pick it for you and take it over to the community center? Is that what we're saying we're going to do?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about that as well, like kind of treating it like an abandoned plot. I feel a little hesitant to call people out to that degree because it isn't in our guidelines. It's not something we've introduced as like an expectation that you have to donate. But I could see, like, I guess I would like to put a pin in that and see how the year starts with maybe just the simple reframing of reduce your waste, garden food waste. And if that doesn't help, maybe we can talk about, do we want to let gardeners know that, hey, like as a committee, when we do plot inspections, if we notice have a lot of food, can we glean it for you? I think it could be something we could hash out a little bit next year if we need to.
Yeah, it's good spirited, and it's just checking in with them. We're not going to just go raid their gardens.
Mark.
Yeah, another option, and it's probably not popular, is we can go back to our old technique of dedicating one or more plots to be donation plots. I know that was a lot of work, and I oversaw it for a while, and others have done it too. But it's just another option. If we want to make a commitment to serving people in our community as part of our garden group, that's one way we could do it again. It probably wouldn't be a huge amount we would do, but it's one way that we could at least try to share some of our bounty, because we do have bounty. That's all.
Okay, cool. Well, I feel good about this discussion. Oh, Margie, yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I wouldn't mind going back to that and planting. We could plant things that are really easy, like kale is abundant. It doesn't matter if it rains a lot, it still produces. Maybe lettuce, things that are not so dependent on weather and that grow easily. We could try just a small bed, maybe in one of the thistle plots if there's room. But definitely we could revisit all this next season.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Karen, I'll definitely let you go, but I do want to wind this down because we have other stuff we need to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just wanted to throw on there, if we did have another donation plot, I grow pumpkins every year, and they just kind of take over the garden. I mean, once they get going, you don't have to worry about weeding anything. You just let them go, and then in the fall, you have, you know, pumpkins or winter squash or whatever it is, and that's a pretty easy to go, and you have something to donate at the end.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. I think this is all great. I have a couple ideas, but I'm going to table them as well for next year. And I'd like to jump into really quickly some of the new and old business. Really quick for new business, because I think we kind of already agree on this, but I just want to, there was discussion about letting in non-Easthampton residents. It's currently in our guidelines. But Margie brought up that this was a policy introduced when membership was kind of low at one point, I think, or I could have that wrong. But just to go back and say only Easthampton residents are allowed to have a plot, and not worry about trying to deal with a rolling admission for outside Easthampton residents. Anyone have any disagreements with that, Karen?
There have been times when we did not have someone lined up, and I would much rather see somebody, I don't care from where, if they're willing to start pulling the weeds in a plot, to let them, if there's nobody else in line, then let them do it for 1 year. You know, let them grow something, pull the weeds, and at least have a better looking plot there.
All right, Margie?
The thing is, though, that lately how it's been going is that there's a couple of open plots, and then 2 weeks or a month later, there's an Easthampton resident who wants the plot. And it gets just really confusing, because then if we think, oh, nobody's going to take this plot, and we take someone who's not a resident, and then 3 days later, someone who's a resident wants a plot, and it's early in the season, maybe we should have some kind of a cutoff point, like the last month of the summer, if there are no Easthampton residents who want it, something like that, because this rolling thing, it just doesn't work for me, because it gets just too confusing, because like lately we have had full participation, I think maybe since COVID. And I'm not exactly sure of that, but you know, you want it for Easthampton, but you don't want the plots to be unattended. So I don't know. I just don't think it's a great idea to have that policy immediately. Maybe for the last month of the summer, or I don't know, something besides just opening it up if there are no Easthampton residents interested. Because then, like I said, 2 days later, there's 3 people who want to plot who are with Easthampton.
Great. Frank?
I kind of agree with Margie, and there's another thing. I mean, this is just looking down the road. There's a lot of new. Could everybody mute? Because there's stuff. I keep hearing noises and stuff. But there's a lot of housing that's about to happen in this town, and almost all of it is in buildings where people will not have access to gardens. Stuff going in at Tasty Top. We got more housing going in out towards Big Y. Ferry Street project's getting ready to take off. Supposedly all of the old elementary schools are going to be developed. So and that I'm not naming everything. And so there's a part of me, I really don't want to open this up for people outside of town. I just, if we're gonna talk about this, then I really want to. I agree with Margie. There's gonna be people move in, people move out, and there's people that move in. I mean, when I moved up here back in 1988 from Norfolk, Virginia, I moved to Amherst, and I picked up a plot there in August, middle of August actually. And I got some greens going before the growing season ended. So, there will be people coming in later who will have interest. So I really don't. I hear what you're saying, Karen, but I don't know. I feel like I'd like to keep the plots available. Just I'll leave it at that.
Karen?
Well, I still would rather see somebody working it. If I would say don't make a hard and fast rule. And if, there have been some summers when we've had plots, we didn't have a waiting list, and we had plots that were open that became available partway through the summer. So my recommendation is that we do it, wait and see what happens. If it turns out we have a summer where we have plots that are going to weeds and there's nobody from Easthampton in line and somebody else is interested, let them have it for the summer. We don't have to make a hard and fast decision. We can see what happens each summer.
Margie?
Two things. First of all, remember that Northampton has 2 community gardens, and they do not have, the one I used to be, they don't have a very long waiting list. So Northampton residents and Amherst residents do have the option of community gardening in their own towns. I don't know about Holyoke, but as far as I know, since I've been here, I haven't heard from anybody from other than from Northampton about gardening. And the number of non-residents in Easthampton who have inquired since I've been doing this has been extremely low. It was just an oversight this past season that 2 people got plots who don't live in Easthampton. Total oversight, and that's being remedied. That's not going to happen again. I think I made my 2 points: the Northampton Garden, and if you notice too, this bunch of gardeners has been more active on work days than I have seen in my time here. And we could also keep more focus on dealing with people who can't maintain their plots. And I keep sending out reminders to people: if you can't maintain your plots, get help. The person who helps you can get community service hours for that. So I think we need to strengthen that message too. Okay, I probably won't say anything else. I think we should maybe table this too.
Karen?
A couple of summers ago, we had a woman who just lived down the street, just over the border in Northampton. And we said, no, you can't have it. And we ended up having a plot that opened and there was nobody in line and nobody got back to her saying, are you still interested? That was a condition where we should have let this woman, she lived a block away. She was interested. We should have just let her use that plot that summer.
All right. I do think with how much we have to discuss, let's think about this over the winter.
Yes.
And we'll vote on it in the spring. I do want to, I guess, say if we can make a vote that if we get any inquiries over the winter, that we for now they can only be Easthampton residents because we're not in danger of any plots getting overgrown over the winter. And then before we do our big push this spring, because we'll have a meeting before then, we need to make a final vote so that way Margie knows what to do with the influx of gardeners. Then I've got Stephen and then I've got Margie.
I have to say something quick just about what you said, because when people contact me in the winter, I don't put them on the waiting list. I tell them to get back to me in March because we'll know more.
Oh, great.
So that's
okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not worrying about Caitlin and Eric's. Okay, perfect. All right, Stephen.
And before we leave this topic, just for clarification, are we in agreement that, putting aside whether it's Easthampton or not Easthampton resident, that you have to be 18 or older?
Yeah.
Yes, we voted on that last meeting.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I thought I've seen different things at different times. So okay, good. That was my only question.
I guess I do want to vote on this now because it might be moot because we don't know if Grace and Haley are going to come back in the spring. But I do think we need to decide. So Grace and Haley are not Easthampton residents. They were given a plot this year. We had said we would let them garden this summer. I would like to vote that they are welcome to continue as gardeners as like our, if they wish to continue next year and onward. Because even though they weren't Easthampton residents, it was our oversight. And ultimately they've been amazing gardeners, and it doesn't feel personally, not as chair, but as like a community garden, it doesn't feel right to me to ask them to leave based on how good they were at being a part of the community this summer. Okay. Does anyone have any comments on that?
Yes. Can you just ask them if they would like or planning on coming back next year or not, at least get that information? Or would they be interested?
I was going to say if we could vote now that we're okay with them returning or not, because we do ask everyone in the spring already, are you returning? I was wondering if we could vote on that now, if we were going to ask them to leave or not.
Yes,
Are we
I
setting?
support that. Yeah.
I'm good with that, voting now.
Mark, what were you going to say?
Are we setting a precedent?
No.
This is a one-time situation where we screwed up basically, and so we're owning that and saying we welcome these people even though they don't qualify by our standards because they've been good gardeners and we made a mistake. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's a retroactive because they're already in.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's like since we didn't have since our policy that we have posted currently says we do accept Northampton outside of Easthampton residents on that's what our current guidelines even say right now. So yeah, it's a retroactive thing, unfortunately.
So we'll grandfather them in. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, grandfather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One time.
Okay, so I propose a motion to grandfather in Grace and Haley in plot
Uh-oh. Lost you, Sarah.
I think we're losing
of what we
Sarah.
vote as our policy in the spring.
Sarah, you broke up. Your signal.
No, that's okay. Then it just closed.
It's not.
I don't know.
Can you just clarify the vote, what we're voting on again, please? Because it was.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. I was just gonna say, oh my God, this is from hell. Sorry, my computer's just completely freaking out. Stop.
We can hear you.
All right. Okay, great. So I propose a motion to grandfather in Grace and Haley in plot B11, regardless of what we determine in the spring for our resident plot eligibility expectations that Grace and Haley are allowed to renew and continue to be gardeners. Does anyone second the motion?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, awesome. Great. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Let's see. Okay, so I'm really frustrated with my internet, but I can't use my hotspot right now, I don't think. So we'll just hopefully it'll be fine. I guess I just want to go through and quickly ask Stephen on the so does everyone have, I don't want our meeting to run late because of this, so I will we don't have to go through this whole document. But I did just put a link in the messages, or I'm attempting to the Garden Committee Working Needs and Responsibilities document. I have a couple asks before we review this really thoroughly. Stephen, can you put in here under one of the sections I have, how to turn the water off? Can you please type in the process for getting the water turned off and the phone number for Broadbrook and all that information on the document? Muted, and there's no video on my end anymore, so I'm going to assume yes. Okay, Margie?
Well, I have a request for the documents.
I know you're not.
All the documents, I think they should be left aligned, because when they're centered, to me, it's very confusing. And when I was tutoring,
they are all presently left aligned now.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all. It's just standard for legal documents. I looked it up because in academia, when I worked at the college, papers had to be left aligned. Everything had to be left aligned or justified, which is kind of aligned, but not to the left. It's just that when it's centered.
Yes, they're all left aligned.
Okay, awesome.
Currently.
Thank you.
Stephen, did you hear me? Sorry, I
did,
videos aren't working.
Sorry, I was
Okay,
muted,
cool.
but I said yes. I'll do it.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Eric, also, again, I have no one's video, so you're going to have to be, communicate with words, sound. Eric, do you have time? I know you sent me a very thorough typed up thing. I got overwhelmed typing that myself. Do you have time to put that information in this document in a way that kind of makes sense?
Yes.
About the secretary's roles? Okay.
Yeah, I'll find that document that I sent, cut and paste it in.
Okay, cool. So wherever I kind of just broke up the responsibilities a little bit. So I just do your best. If you're at all having trouble, is Anonymous Turtle you? I think somebody named Anonymous Turtles in the document. Okay, cool. Thanks, Eric. Just let me know if that doesn't work. Okay. So I guess what I first want to ask is, or I'm hesitant because we don't have that much time. I think what I want to bring up is our garden committee is small. It's about to get smaller. I really like how many projects we all want to take on and how many projects we have our ideas that we wish could happen in the garden. What I think I feel stumped with is we don't have enough energy and time between us and the gardeners that volunteer a lot to get all of our projects done. So I want to we need to figure out what we can actually do. Which kind of plays into what you guys are saying. The return of the donation garden would be super cool. We don't even have enough volunteers to get our compost operation going. We barely have enough volunteers to maintain the paths. We don't have that many people come to work days. It's a lot of the same people donating a lot of the same time. I'm just curious if we can all like really assess as many hopes as we have for the garden. How much can our garden support here? Does that, any comments on that? Margie? Margie,
I think we need to keep in mind how long. I just unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think we need to keep in mind how long this garden has been going and not be too concerned with getting all these new projects happening, because the garden committee is going to shrink and grow all the time. We don't know next year if some of the new gardeners are going to join us. We never know. And just take on what we can, do what we can. If we can't get to the compost, I mean, that seems to me like a huge project, especially if we're thinking of that overgrown hill that we now call compost, of doing something with that. That's like, to me, that just seems insurmountable. But I'm not really worried about it because we're doing fine without it. And while all these projects would be awesome and nice, they're not really what's at the heart and soul of the garden, which is people have the opportunity to grow food on land. And as few of us as there are, it's still happening. So I just think we shouldn't be too stressed out about the size of the committee. Maybe if it gets to the point where we don't have people
and other people
able to do the essentials.
Yeah, totally.
Frank?
That's all. Oh, sorry, Margie. I'm sorry, you're breaking up, and I can't tell if it's just me or not. But Frank, go ahead and go.
I don't know about the really taking on the whole compost project, but there's a compost creep going on, not as in person, but is actually a thing where people don't put their stuff up in the pile. They just dump it at the edge. And the old movie The Blob, where this stuff just keeps creeping out. It feels like a very slow lava flow that it's just expanding out. And there's even the one over by the shed, there's a fence there, but people just dump stuff outside the fence instead of and I cleared out a place where you could come up with the wheelbarrow and throw it over, and then they just pile everything right where I cleaned out to do the wheelbarrow. So I think that's something. Maybe we don't get a whole compost thing going, but we really need to get the message across that people just got to use some freaking common sense, man. And I think committee wise, the passion that everybody was just using, talking about donating food, we need to kind of put a fire under the rest of the people who have plots to get involved in the committee. Maybe they don't have to come to every meeting, but they need to get involved in projects. Like maybe the volunteer hours aren't enough or something, but yeah, the garden's been around a while, but there's certain things that really need to happen again. And I'm burnt out, man. I mean, I gotta admit. So I want to give up the inspection stuff. I don't want to do that anymore. I would rather focus on the mowing and things like that and the machines. But I do think there are certain things that do need to be given attention to. And like I said, maybe the compost, what you had envisioned, Sarah, maybe that doesn't happen right away, but we really have to get something under control with these piles for sure.
I like this. I think, do you mind if I just call on each of us to go around and say what you're a comment on what something you think should be prioritized, which I wrote down for you, Frank, was figure out something small to do to manage the compost, at least make it more manageable. but prioritize getting more people involved on the committees, especially with the food waste conversation. And then you also, I wrote down, you're wanting to no longer do the inspections, but you want to focus on mowing and machines. So I'm going to go around, and if everyone could say something touching on the multifacets of this conversation. Mark, you should go next based on where you are on my screen.
I really don't know what to say. I'm content doing what I do, and happy to take on a little bit more, especially around the food security issue. But that's my own private thing. I'm not asking a committee or anything like that. So I think that's the best I can say, unless, yeah.
That's awesome. It stays the same.
And I'll do the compost piece. I the regular compost, the compost delivery, I'll continue to do that.
Awesome. All right. Eric, you're officially gone in the spring, correct? I'm not going to ask you. Okay.
I have no more opinions. No more relevant.
No more opinions. That's it. All right.
Well,
Karen.
For me, the pollinator garden is an evolving project, and I'd like to just keep focusing on making that better and better.
Are you able or interested to take on more, do you think?
More pollinator garden or more what?
Or more any responsibilities? No pressure. This is just where you're at capacity-wise.
No, I mean, what I would be interested in is getting some perennial fruit bearing, some other plants stuck in around the garden.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you. Margie?
Can you repeat the question, please? I happened to go to the bathroom just when you asked.
Yeah, no worries. Just, is there anything that you are wanting to take off your plate that's part of your responsibilities right now? Is there anything you're wanting to take on? Is there anything that you need, that you want to be a definite priority next year, or not priority as far as like a big project goes?
I think I'm good right now. I don't feel able to take on more. My life is really full and I'm not getting any younger. Maybe once I retire, I can take on more, but that's not happening right now. And I'm okay with what I'm doing because it's not, like the bulk of what I need to do is concentrated in a short period. So it's not like all the time. It is, something's happening all the time, but not to the extent as in the early spring. So I'm okay with how it is now for now. Thank you for considering that.
Great. Yes. Stephen?
I guess what I would add to what I did this year, is that as you gathered, I will do any harvesting. If we had a donation garden, I'm happy to harvest it, not grow it, but harvest it. If we provide for harvesting of gardeners plots, I'm happy to do that too. Other than that, basically my job is the delivery to the community center and making sure the water is on and off timely. We have reached the point actually where it's starting to become a little bit more automatic. I think that was because of this spring. Broadbrook and the water department kind of work together. Now the water department automatically, when I checked with them, and they had actually already turned off the water, so they're kind of taking it on themselves a little bit. But nevertheless, we do need someone who's prepared to interact with both of them, and I'm happy to do that.
Sarah, still there?
I'm good. I was just saying great and all. Great and awesome. And I've written that down. Norman? want to take on anything? Do you have any sense on your response? My God, this is unreal. I even switched to my hotspot. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Maybe.
We can hear you,
Okay.
Sarah, but
Right,
maybe
Norman.
maybe take the video.
All right,
Maybe
great.
take the video off.
I will. I'll just turn the video off.
Yeah.
Norman, do you have any responsibilities or things you want to take on, or any priorities you wish the garden would focus on next year, etc.? Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh my. You can see his face. You can't hear his voice. You're muted, Norman.
Norman, we can come back to you. I don't know. Or no, now I should hear
All
you.
right.
There we go.
You can't hear me, huh?
Now we can.
Now we can hear you.
You can hear me. So the question of what else to do, I realized that I always thought as a member of the garden, you come to all these meetings. And I come to most of them, but I realize a lot of people don't come. And so you asked me once, did I want to take over Eric's job? And I declined, partly because I'm still working and I'm not sure what else I want to do. I'm kind of interested in some kind of low-tech composting. And that's not a very clear statement, but I feel some energy and some passion to have more compost available for the gardeners. And when I say low-tech, I have to think about what that means. I mean, when I had a house, I had a big barrel I could throw stuff in and mix it up, and it turned out great for compost. But I'm not sure how to do that in a larger facility like this. I have to think about what else I might be willing to do.
Okay, awesome. No, I love that. And Norman, I'll send you like the plan my friend made, and if that seems like something that is low tech, it's definitely low tech. It's just like a lot of material because we get so much material from the gardens. But if that feels like something you'd feel able to like run and organize, I'll send you the
Okay.
documents so that you can think about it
Please
over
do.
the winter. Yeah,
Please do.
awesome. Okay, great. And this is definitely no pressure to have an answer now. So like you said, thinking about it is kind of the ideal. Christine, did you want to take anything on or ask for something to be a priority or take anything off your plate?
I can't really commit right now, and I'm kind of like wiped out from my season, which is still going to go on until the end of December. So I'm not sure, but if it's something, say, like with the wood chips, that's going to be, that's easy for me to do. It depends on what it is, especially if it makes other people's lives easier. But I can't commit to being at every meeting. I can't commit to any, to be at the work days or to be part of festivity or a program or whatever, because I am really busy.
Yeah.
And
no, you do so much. It's definitely none of this is a call for any of you to do more. That's not what this is. So
yeah, and I have to say the same for Liam, especially too. And I know that, I've talked with Liam quite a bit, like, you know what, it's time for him to step up. I mean, he's a very, very good gardener. He knows a lot about weeds. And I said, you know what, maybe you want to help Frank, because he would learn a lot and he would have to deal with people, which is something that he's working on. And, so at any rate, I'm not speaking for Liam, but like, especially Frank, if you see him, put a bug in his ear.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks, Christine. That's awesome.
Yeah, because he's, he can do pads, no problem, or like pull ragweed, which is something that we do all year long. But he really knows his plants, and I want to be able to take advantage of it.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, that's the little round robin there, which is great and helpful. I'm happy to take on weed inspections. Frank, I can add that to the document now. I know that let's see. I know that Ryan is interested in running more of the work days independently. I feel like, I guess, we just don't have enough time to run through all this stuff. But I do want to post this on the city website. And thank you, Stephen and Eric, for already formatting this stuff so quickly. I appreciate that. So Margie, I changed some wordage here, and I'll just have you guys email me back later so I can get this posted on the city website. And my hope is that if it's on the website, people can see where our gaps are, what they might want to volunteer to do, etc., as new gardeners when they're looking at what it's like to be on the committee or otherwise. I am trying to figure out what else I can take off my plate because I'm not sure if I'm going to go to school next year. So I don't have any decisions on that. I'm kind of with Norman. I'm reflecting on how my workload and everything shifts and my new responsibilities in other realms over the winter. But Mark, is there any secretary things you would feel comfortable taking over right now, saying you would want to take over right now?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
We're not going to have a secretary in the spring, and you're one of the few people.
I'm not volunteering for secretary, no. I'm
Perfect.
sorry.
Okay. No, that's great. I guess what I meant was, I'm wondering if we can split the secretary's jobs up. Are any of them anything that you'd be like, oh, I can totally just take that on really quick? And the answer can be no, but that's the question.
Can you clarify what that role is?
Yeah, if you're able to open the document that I sent and Control F secretary, it'll bring you to everything the secretary does. And we can put someone's name next to those things. So I have right now, they need to update the agendas on the Google Drive, need to update the minutes on the Google Drive. And then here lists, they correspond with the city regarding the meeting agendas. They receive the link to the online meetings and share them with the chair. And it has listed out how to do all this stuff, and Eric's updating it now. I think what I'm afraid of is that Eric is going to leave in the spring and I will be expected to do all of this. And I'm not, I'm trying to figure out how to set a boundary that I would really like to not have that be how it has to be.
Sorry, you need to be talking. And the reason that I don't talk is because I need to be focusing on writing the minutes as we go.
Yeah, that's true. I need to be talking. Yes, Eric, that's what I like to do. No, but yeah, I guess it's I couldn't do the minutes, but I don't really want to take on any more of the emailing or any of that stuff. So it's totally fine if no one wants to take this stuff on now. But the reality is we have no one who's a current gardener who's interested in taking on anything. We've sent out quite a few emails about it, and we cannot wait until the new gardeners in March. We do need to have a secretary, I would hope, before then. So we don't need to decide that now. I guess I'll just stress, if you guys could look at that document and honestly reflect on your schedules and see what you can take on. And if the answer is nothing, that's fine. We will just need to talk to the committee about what we want to do. And I don't know what that's going to be, because I think we are all at capacity. And so, like Margie said, this has happened before. The committee's been a lot of different sizes, but I do feel like I want to make sure, I kind of just I don't want the committee to always get this burnt out and then get a new influx of energy and have that get burnt out. So I'm trying to figure out, how we can mitigate that, I guess, is my struggle.
Well, I'm going to put in the notes that I send out tonight that
great.
We need people to step up and take on more responsibility. I don't know how I'm going to word it. I'm not going to word it too harshly. And that we are in great need of a secretary. So maybe some of the new people will respond.
Mark?
Just wondering how much longer our meeting is going tonight. I had hoped to leave at 8:30, but we're already at 8:35. So it looks like your agenda still looks significant. What do you think?
I was going to try to wind it down right now. I do have one thing that we do need to vote on, but Mark, you're welcome to, you can leave the meeting. There's absolutely no pressure to stay on until the end.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
So, I guess I'll just leave it there. Everyone, please look at this document. Comment on it, things that you're like, we don't need to worry about this, or please, why isn't this on here? I'm going to post some of that. I'm going to post this document online, but it's a working document, and it's just a list of all the things that happen to keep the garden running. And we just all need to keep thinking about that and how we're going to get it all done between all of our capacities. And I hope we get some gardeners who are interested. And I thank you for the priorities for next year. I'm excited to think about those. The last thing that I realize we need to talk about now, and again, if this isn't quick, we will just not worry about it, and I can update Mark and Charlotte that we'll have a confirmed vote for them in March. They both reached out to me. They both maintained their thistle plots. Are they allowed to keep those next year? Is anyone have any big protests about that right now?
No.
No? Okay, cool. Mark was wondering if he could dig into the soil. Are we comfortable with him advancing, since he kept the thistle down, to actually just planting in the dirt again?
It might, this is Christine.
Yeah, Christine.
It's too soon.
It's too soon. Okay.
I agree. It's too soon. It's that
Okay.
It's going to be virulent.
It's going to take 5 years.
Frank?
I agree, but there's also a part of me, it's like open up like a 1-by-1 section and just plant something and see what happens. I'd be curious to know, because I already probably know that it'll grow, the thistle will grow there, but I always want to experiment a little bit just to see how fast it would come back but yeah, I mean, in general, I would not open that up yet. No way. I think Christine's right.
Cool. All right. That's what I'll tell Mark, is that for now we're not certain on it, but that we will kind of revisit this and give him it's not like he's going to plant right now. I don't think garlic was on his mind. So, I'll tell him that we don't think would be good for him to plant in the soil yet. And, that if he has like some proposals for us, he can come to a meeting to say like, well, I want to try this, or I want to try the 1x1, little square to see what happens, etc. Awesome. So thank you guys so much. Any other quick comments or questions?
Well, a big thank you to you, Sarah, for another year and another good year.
Yeah, thank you guys. I truly
You at the helm.
Oh, she's done a great job.
it's been such a great year. I can't even believe how much we've gotten done. The garden looks so nice. It's really, really awesome. Everyone's put in so much time this year too. I'm like extremely blown away. So with that, our next meeting date is, if I'm not mistaken, it's March, correct?
Yeah, it'd be March.
First Thursday in March.
Sounds good.
My hotspot's about to die because it's on my phone. So we got to do this really, really fast.
That'd be
March 5th.
5th of March, yes.
All right. So
Before we break up, I just want, unless anyone has objections, we just had an election, as you know, and our acting mayor is now going to be the new mayor. I'd like to take the opportunity to have a meeting with him just to bring him up to speed as he starts off, what we're about, okay? Things we need and whatever. So I'm hoping, we got some clear needs, and I'd like to get the mayor involved from the very outset.
I know.
I think it'd be cool.
Great idea.
You know, who's that?
I know
Sarah?
him. Yeah, he was with
Margie.
my kids growing up.
Yeah, because he's taught in Northampton, yeah.
Yeah. I'm in email contact with him. I can email him and see, when he's available, maybe in the spring, because I'm sure he's going to be busy now.
that sounds great. And I feel like just CC Ava, because I'm sure she'd want to be there too. But that would be awesome. That's such a great idea.
I actually think that, Margie, I think the sooner the better, because the reality is that, beginning of the year, you start with budget stuff, and that really that consumes most of the city government. So I think we want to get his ear soon.
So
what does soon mean?
Soon means like now.
Meet with who and where and when and.
Well, I'm just saying the mayor, okay, with whoever wants to, but not wait till the spring.
Okay.
All right.
Too late.
Well, so Margie, do you mind reach out to the mayor? Ava's email is in this document here, as one of our contacts, and I can also copy and paste her email. And Ava's our I keep calling it the conservation commission is what the garden is. It's the section of the city that the garden functions under, and it's her job. She's like our liaison and manages like the aspect of that department that we fit under. And so she was introduced to kind of take over she's like, so that the new clerk, some of the stuff that was being done before is now what Ava does for us.
If you could email me her email address, because I want to do this tonight, and I'm not going to be looking at the document right now. I don't think.
I'll email and anyone wants to be in this meeting from there?
Sarah,
Margie?
Can't really understand you. Something's up with the sound.
Yeah, you broke up there again, Sarah.
If you want to meet with the mayor, email Margie. Can you guys hear me say that?
No, not yet.
Yes, we could hear that.
Let's first reach out to the mayor and see if he's available or wants to do it before we start to meet with him.
Are we thinking of meeting on Zoom or in person? Like, what's?
Yes, thank you. I think I'll
Um,
ask him what he prefers. Would he like to Zoom meet with us or meet in person with some of us?
That sounds great. Awesome. So we'll start some. Margie's taking care of corresponding with the mayor. We'll figure out what that means. And thank you guys for a great meeting. And I will see you all around town, hopefully. And then
Oh, you'll see
in March.
me.
That's right.
Thank you,
Bye,
Sarah.
guys. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Oh, I
Thank
moved to
you.
end the meeting. Does anyone second the motion?
Second.
Second.
Second. All right. All in favor? Aye. Here we go.
Aye.
Bye,
Good
guys.
luck.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.